Prime's exclusive wildcard playoff game is Saturday night. Jordan Love and the Packers take on Caleb Williams and the Bears. Not a Prime member? Sign up for a 30-day free trial to stream the game.
That's going to be caught for the touchdown.
NFC North rivals square off in the latest chapter of the NFL's oldest feud. The Packers and Bears in Prime's exclusive wildcard playoff game. Saturday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Only on Prime. Sign up for a 30-day free trial today. Restrictions apply. See Amazon.com/Amazon Prime for details.
Why do growing businesses love working in Slack? Let's ask Christy at Ari Bikes.
Running things in Slack saves me so much time.
AI summaries save 97 minutes per week. What say you, Rox from Gosney?
Slack helps us build community, it helps us build connection.
Your partners, vendors and customers all in one place. Take us on home, Ashley from Caraway.
If we didn't have Slack tomorrow, I would explode.
Well, let's not let that happen. Visit slack.com/podcast to get 50% off Slack Business Plus.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? But with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers, a network of 130 million of them, in fact. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills, and did I say job title? See how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
After 50 years, Britain's greatest ever ice skaters retired last year. And if, like us, you watched the Torvill Dean final farewell over Christmas, you'll be awash with great memories. But what about the future? I'm Michael.
And I'm John, and this is Anything But Footy, talking about the Olympic and Paralympics all the time, not just once every 4 years. And the future for British ice skating seems rosy. With the biggest figure skating team since 1988 and another British skater aiming to make history again, this time in long track speed skating.
I can't wait to have an Olympics without COVID and with a crowd and all these new experiences that come with it. So yeah, can't wait.
Coming up, we'll hear from Team GB's latest confirmed athlete. It is long track speed skater Ellia Smeding. And we'll talk to the British Ice Skating Performance Director and Team GB's skating lead in Milan. That is Olympian himself, Jon Eley.
We've our latest exclusive audio diary from Adele Nicoll, from athletics to bobsleigh to Cortina. It's not as simple as ABC, though.
Very good. And we round up the rest of the news from the Games.
Michael Weddock's Winter Wonders.
This is Anything But Footy. Do stay in touch with us all the time. You can find us across all our social media platforms, and you can also check us online at anythingbutfooty.com. You can read our latest blogs there and find out more about what we do.
Hi, I'm Eve Muirhead. I'm Chef de Mission. You're listening to Anything But Footy with the latest on the Winter Olympics.
That is Team GB chef de mission Eve Muirhead with less than 1 month to go to the Winter Olympic Games. She says she can't wait to welcome the newest name on the Team GB team sheet, and that is long track speed skater Ellia Smeding. Smeding is the latest British skater back onto the Olympic ice for this Winter Olympics. She did, of course, take part in Beijing 2022. A history maker, of course, back then. The first time a British female competed in long track speed skating in 40 years and recorded the best ever performance. Now, Ellia, 27 years old, originally from Buckinghamshire, and as we'll hear shortly, spent some time in the Netherlands and is now based in Calgary in Canada. She's confirmed to us that she'll compete in both the 1,000 metres, that is her favoured distance, and that goes first in the programme, so that will suit her, and also then the 1,500 metres at the Games in Milano Cortina. She's returned to the world's top 10 last year in that shorter distance of 1,000 metres after a year off with injury, and I spoke to her on the occasion of her getting her official letter of confirmation from Team GB that she is going to her second Winter Olympic Games.
Yeah, super excited. I mean, the first time was amazing, and I think the second time had its challenges in its own way, so that feels super rewarding now too, and I can't wait to have an Olympics without COVID and with a crowd and all these new experiences that come with it. So yeah, can't wait.
A lot of the athletes are telling me that they are so up for this one because Beijing was such a difficult experience. We're not going to have to spit in a tube every morning, for example. There'll be crowds in. It's also a great time zone as well. All those things together must really add up for you.
Yeah, no, I can't wait. I can't wait for my family to be there and to just have a crowd. I always perform well when there's a crowd there, so that helps. And yeah, I think just not having the worries of COVID will be nice, but also just lots of fun new experiences that we didn't get the first time around. So it feels like the first time in a way, but also bringing those, that knowledge and experience in from the first time. So best of both worlds.
I remember chatting to you when you were selected, obviously 4 years ago, and following you at the Games. You've mentioned some challenges since Beijing to now. What can you tell us about those?
Well, I had a couple of really good seasons post-Olympics. I was able to make some massive jumps in my performances and multiple top tens at World Championships. But last year was a bit of a tricky season due to injury, which kind of really sets you back far and put the Olympic dream on hold for a bit and really made me question, okay, can I come back from this? And the performances just really weren't there. Due to all the physical challenges and, the mental challenges after, that come with injury. So yeah, we relocated to Canada this year and, pretty much started fresh, did everything slightly differently than we've ever done before. And yeah, it all worked out really well, which has been so rewarding and exciting. And I think that just makes qualifying for my second Olympics even sweeter.
And tell us about that qualification process, how you got there, how you were back this time around.
So basically we qualified through the first 4 World Cups and we knew the first 2 were going to be at altitude at fast rinks. So we kind of knew the first 2 were going to be the most important, which added a lot of pressure because first World Cup after injury or from the get-go, from a new training environment, I was pretty nervous. I was like, I knew I had to make it happen. And I was so relieved how well it went and was able to get back into the A division after the first World Cup. And then throughout the first World Cup cycle, get back into the top 10. So I think going into the Olympics ranked 10th-ish, which is super exciting. And I think, being back to the level that I was pre-injury and maybe even better is really fun.
What prompted the move to Canada?
In sport, you have to be realistic, looking at what your performances are, how your body is coping with a certain training environment. And I think we noticed pretty quickly, from gaining the injury and things just weren't clicking and weren't working, that you have to be critical and think, okay, you can keep doing the same thing and hope for a different result, but that's not very smart. So I think we were really conscious of, okay, if we want to make, a big change in how my body is responding to training and how I heal from this injury and get back to the level that I need to be, we need to make a change. And as hard as it was, because comfort is also nice, and you know things have worked in the past, but just because they worked in the past doesn't mean they're going to work in the future. And I think we were at that point, so we decided, okay, let's just take this risk and kind of jump in the deep end in a way, even though our new coach is so experienced, which kind of prompted the move as well. We just decided to go for it, and it paid off really well.
Yeah, I was going to say a risk, you describe it as that, but it's definitely paid off sat here today, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I say it's a risk, but we also, I fully believed in the step that we were taking and that this was the best move for us. So even though it's a risk, just because you're not quite sure how everything's going to play out, I'm also quite stubborn. And, if you put in the work and you believe in what you're doing, that's half the battle. And I think it just shows that also how good our coach is and how nice it is to be living in Calgary right now.
So take us back. You were a history maker in terms of long track in Beijing 4 years ago, but how and why long track speed skating? How did it begin for you?
Yeah, it's a funny story. So when I was younger, we always used to have, birthday parties, and I think it was a trend that we'd always just kind of go rollerblading in this indoor sports hall. And I think from that age, I was already quite competitive. I can remember zooming around and just being like, oh, I love this speed. I love the movement. And, we'd occasionally go to the ice rink and, I'd really enjoy that. And then when I was 8, my parents decided to temporarily move to Holland, which is obviously massive in skating. But we moved to a town where they had an inline track. And my mum was like, oh, do you want to give that a go? Because I remember you love it, like rollerblading, inlining. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. So that's kind of how I got into inlining. And then what they do in the winter is they speed skate. So then I went into speed skating and I really enjoyed that. And yeah, just kind of developed from there. Wasn't a massive talent at all. But then got in contact with Stephen Airy, who was basically setting up British long track. And he said, well, would you want to skate some junior World Cups for us? And I was like, yeah, that's super exciting. Let's do it. And yeah, haven't looked back since.
And how much do you embrace this kind of role model, the position that you have now, in terms of there might be young boys, young girls watching the last Olympics, watching these Olympics, and might want to take up your sport? And what are the opportunities in the UK to do that?
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to encourage people to get into skating. Like I love the sport, and I think many others would. Unfortunately, it's not as accessible in the UK as it is in other countries. But there are so many ways to do it. I mean, there's short track speed skating, which has a really good crossover with long track once you're a bit older, if you'd want to explore going abroad. You know, there's inline skating that you can do. There are lots of drills you can do on like the dry land. So there are ways to do it, and I just hope I inspire people to give it a go and yeah, just experience it.
And what represents success for you when you look back at your second Olympics? Is it a final? Is it a top 10 finish? Do you think you're a chance to be on the podium? It's a very unpredictable sport, as we know.
I think it's hard to say just because you can't control what anyone else does. So I find it hard to put a number on, you know, if I achieve that, I'm going to be happy or successful or whatever, because you just don't know what your competition is doing. I think for me, it's obviously in the back of my head, I'd love to put down a performance that's my best ever. So my best ever ranking from what I've done throughout the World Cups and World Championships. But on top of that, I just really want to walk away feeling like I left everything on the ice and I did everything that was in my control and my power. And yeah, I think from Beijing, it was so new and so nerve-wracking and exciting, but I loved the experience, but I didn't feel like I got everything out in those races. And I think that's the main goal for this time, is really feel like I can get all my energy out and skate the best I've ever done.
Before we wrap up, can we talk coffee? What's the situation?
Yeah, of course.
What's the situation with the coffee business? And you and Cornelius is side hustle, I believe the kids would call it.
Yeah, the side hustle. Yeah, I mean, we're still chugging along. I think this year we've decided to really, you know, we had such a massive mountain to climb in terms of qualifying and relocating to Canada. So we've had to kind of take a step back. Luckily, we've got everything in place that it runs smoothly in the background. And we really want to give it a kickstart once we have a little bit more time after the Olympics. But we've been so lucky that this time around we haven't had to fund ourselves. We've been supported amazingly by UK Sport, and yeah, that's just really taken the burden off, you know, self-financing this whole thing. So that's a real relief. But yeah, the coffee business is still going, and we still love our coffee the most out of everything. So yeah.
And we're just announcing you in the team today, but where's Cornelius? How is he?
Yeah, he's doing good. I don't know exactly where he sits in terms of qualification right now. That's up to, you know, Team GB and British Ice Skating. But he's doing well. We're training together and yeah, enjoying life.
And still making a good brew.
Yeah, he makes me a coffee every morning. So
well, pass on out our best to him. Hopefully we might still get to see him out there, and congratulations again to you on your selection again.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Ellia Smeding talking to Michael. So Team GB's latest skater confirmed for the Winter Olympics. And after short track, Niall Tracy before Christmas, and the 8-strong figure skating team, that brings a total to 10 British skaters representing the nation at these Winter Games, which are back in Europe for the first time in 20 years.
Hi, I'm Lila Fear.
And I'm Lewis Gibson, and you're listening to Anything But Footy,
with the latest on the Winter Olympics.
So how good a position is British ice skating in? The fact that the European Figure Skating Championships take place in Sheffield next week, the first time it's been staged in the UK in decades, it feels like we're in a good place.
Hi, my name is Jon Eley. I'm the Performance Director at British Ice Skating, covering obviously figure skating and speed skating.
And today we are announcing a long track speed skater, Ellia. How pleased are you that Ellia's in the team, on the squad, and is heading to Italy?
Yeah, really excited. I think for her it's a second games, and actually she's just come off the back of an injury season last year, and sort of hit the ground running this season. At every competition she's been to, she's been getting better and better. So to be able to select her for the games, for a second games, is fantastic. And like I said, I just believe that the potential's there, and I'm looking forward to seeing her sort of really mix it on the world stage and reach her potential.
When you use the word potential, what do you mean? What can she do out there?
Well, she's currently sitting in the top 10 in the world. So I think going out there and like I said, skating to her best and putting the pressure on the top girls is a medal out of the question. I don't think so. I think she has the ability to really push the best in the world. And when I say like what she's done this season, it gives us great confidence that she's able to put pressure on those around her.
And the fact this is her second games, and you might remember this when you were an athlete, the first time you walk into that Olympic environment from a sport like speed skating, from many Olympic sports, it is a very, very different mindset, isn't it? So to have that experience from Beijing under your belt, that must help as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think what she would have realized is that when she gets to the games, or she did in Beijing, the ice conditions, the track, and the people she's competing against are no different to the World Cup circuit. It's a lot of the other things around it that actually, when it comes down to performance, doesn't really make that much difference. As long as her preparation's good, and we're really confident about that, she'll be able to deliver in the sporting environment. And I think this time she'll really be able to tap into the energy of a non-COVID games and be able to have her friends and family there, what we believe will be a full house for every day of the competition that she competes in, and almost know what the games is all about because she's already been there. But then also in Milan, sort of go that extra bit where she's got the atmosphere to go with it and really tap into the energy of what we believe will be in Milan, sort of thing, and actually a strong nation like Italy in speed skating. We expect the rink to be buzzing, which will be great for Ellie.
And for you, you're going to be a busy man, aren't you, when we get to Milano Cortina, because the biggest figure skating team in a generation that you are going to be overseeing, as well as Niall Tracy, who we know has already been selected, in Ellia today.
Yeah, it is. It's something that we've been planning for quite a while. We've had this goal of being able to have this largest figure skating team and be able to qualify for the team event in figure skating, as well as our speed skaters as well, and actually having 10 athletes at the games is really exciting. It gives us multiple opportunities in multiple events, is what we want to be able to have. It's what's almost necessary in winter sports, where things can go for and against you. So we've got many athletes competing across many disciplines. Like I said, it'll be busy for us as staff, but for our athletes, I think it's going to be great to have a really good team around us, and we'll really be able to tap into that team environment in Milan, because obviously, as you know, we're going to have many Team GB athletes based across all of Italy, but we'll have a strong team in Milan, which I think will be our benefit. It'll be the ice skating hubs, I think. So we're really excited to have a good contingent of athletes and some great chances across the disciplines as well.
Yeah, I sat down over Christmas. I watched the Torvill Dean farewell documentary that was on the television, and obviously saw their names in the honours list at New Year as well. But is it time that we started talking about Gibson and Fear now, and what they can do on the world stage?
Absolutely. I think their results and their performances over the last couple of years have really sort of led us to the point where we're going into the games with a great opportunity of winning our first Olympic medal in a long time. And actually, it's credit to them. They've worked so hard. We've put a really good team around them. They train daily with some of the best teams in the world. And I think if anybody's ready to go and deliver on that world stage, it's them guys. And their programs they've got, the sort of slants on that real British take on both their programs is super exciting. And I think that's the stage where we'll probably see the best of them on, like I said, in front of a packed audience in Milan, really sort of tapping into that Olympic environment. I think they'll they'll be the ones that are able to sort of excel within that environment.
And they could go there as European champions, because obviously we've got the last big pre-Olympic event next week in Sheffield.
Yeah, it's exciting time. I think, like you said, we've talked about a number of athletes we've qualified, and it's an exciting time for ice skating in Britain. Like you said, with the Torvill Dean tour last year, the fact they've been honoured as well for their achievements. The athletes we have coming through, the fact we're hosting the last major event before the Olympic Games in the European Championships, it's a great time to be involved with British ice skating and what we could hopefully achieve in the not only the coming weeks but also the coming months, sort of thing. So.
And you mentioned you've got 10 athletes, speed skaters and figure skaters. Is there any opportunity at this stage that Team GB could qualify and name further athletes, or is this drawing a line now?
There's always a possibility. Athletes from other nations and things like that could get injured and different things could happen. But we see this as our group of athletes going through to Milan. And like I said, we're super excited about having this team and having the opportunity for them to be able to deliver.
Fantastic, great to catch up, and thank you so much for your time. And we'll see you there.
Cheers, Mark. Thank you very much. Look forward to it.
Jon Eley, Performance Director of British Ice Skating, talking to Michael. So speed skating made its Olympic debut at the 1924 Games in Chamonix. Even I don't remember those. The women's event officially starting in 1960. And Ellia Smeding, who has been confirmed as the latest British athlete for these Milan Games, will be skating at the Milano Speed Skating Stadium itself, which is located to the northwest in the suburbs of the city in Roe. Now, she's in action, as Michael said earlier, in the 1,000 metres on Monday, February 9th. So the first weekend, after the first weekend, she'll be in action on the Monday, February 9th, and then right at the end, Friday, February 20th in the 1,500 metres. We wish her well, and the whole team, as we've been hearing from Jon. Could we see her partner there too, Michael? What do you reckon?
It's interesting in the chat with Ellia. She always talks about we relocated to Calgary. We are working with a new coach, and she's talking there about her Cornelius, her partner in business, in the coffee business, and her partner in life as well. She seemed quite upbeat. I think fairly confident that we might still see a selection for Cornelius. There is still that opportunity. Obviously, I put that question to Jon, whether he feels that there might be a further name added. And as we've just heard there, he seemed to suggest it might require one or two people from other nations to drop out, which would then bring Cornelius into the reckoning. Cornelius, of course, was part of that Olympic team in Beijing in 2022. They went to that one together. We'll just have to wait and see whether there is time, and it's just under a month now before the games begin, whether there is time for Cornelius to get that selection, to get himself into those ranking positions and to fill that quota place.
And talking of partnerships, we mentioned at the top of the show, Torvill Dean. We both sat and watched that Christmas documentary on ITV. If you haven't watched it, go back and see it. It's so many great memories, so many stories. And what I loved as well is they also talked about Let's Face the Music and Dance, the 1994 Lillehammer, where they were robbed of a gold medal, let's be honest. But even they said they should have risked it a bit more, like they done in 84 with Bolero. It was brilliant. It's really got me in the mood for these Winter Olympics.
Yeah, and what I liked as well about that farewell tour is how they involved this current crop of British figure skaters as well, because, and I've said this before on the podcast, if you're Lewis Gibson and Lila Fear, you're world medalists, you're going to these Olympics with a lot of expectation on your shoulders, there's a very good chance they might be European champions for the first time next week in Sheffield. If you're them, you probably would be, I would forgive them if they didn't want constant comparisons to Torvill Dean. But the fact is, I think they realise that they, one, can learn from what Torvill Dean did, even though it was 32 years ago that they won that bronze medal and 42 years ago since they won that gold medal. And I think they also realise that and athletes in their situation have to be conscious of their brand and the impact they're making with the public. They realise that those comparisons one of the reasons why they're going to be in the public eye, why there's going to be a lot of attention around them. And that's not just good for them as individuals, it's good for their sport as well. And as Jon says in that interview, in winter sport, sometimes you do just need to throw some numbers at it because it's unpredictable, because there's so many variables. And we heard this in our GB snow sport series. In fact, in a snow sport event, you could be competing in completely different conditions to someone that's in the same event 2 hours earlier. You could go down, it could be perfect conditions. 2 hours later, one of your rivals could go down, it could be blizzard conditions. So that is what you're dealing with. It's not necessarily a level playing field. And what they have done this time is they've got numbers to these games. So we've got Lila and Lewis, we've got Phoebe and James, we've got Anastasia and Luke, of course, who are in the pair. The other pairs are both in the ice dance. Kirsten Spurs, and we've got a team as well. So, that's fantastic. And I think that's testament to the work that's going on. And as we often say, it's also testament to what Lila and Lewis have created, because whereas they are following in the footsteps quite belatedly of Torvill and Dean, and there were others after Torvill and Dean, of course, we now see the emergence of some of these other names coming through as well. So hopefully we might be entering another golden era of British figure skating.
And we have to be really careful when we say the pair, Lila and Lewis, because they're in ice dance, as you say, which is all about the footwork and being close together and having that connection, while the pairs actually is a totally different program, and it's more about the lifts and the throws and slightly more dramatic with the maybe Anastasia being thrown up in the air a lot more. So that's the difference for anyone asking between ice dance and pairs.
Yeah, we've got in the ice dance the rhythm dance, which has the required elements, the technical program, and then the free dance, where you have some required elements, but it's more about the choreographed piece. That's the one they say they enjoy the most. It's a bit longer. It'll be around about 4 minutes, and hopefully we'll be seeing a little bit of fun in there. That's what Jon Eley has hinted to us. This is Anything But Footy, our latest exclusive audio diary from British bobsleigh athlete Adele Nicoll coming up, and our latest news from the games.
You know how everything's a subscription now? Music, movies, even socks. I swear if
To continue this ad, please upgrade to Premium Plus Platinum.
What? No, anyway, Blue Apron...
This is a pay-per-listen ad. Please confirm your billing.
Oh, that's annoying. At least with the new Blue Apron, there's no subscription needed. Get delicious meals delivered without the weekly plan.
Wait, no subscription?
Keep the flavor. Ditch the subscription. Get 20% off your first 2 orders with code APRON20. Terms and conditions apply. Visit blueapron.com/terms for more.
This is Anything But Footy. Matt Weston is back on top of the skeleton podium in the World Cup Series. He won in Samoritz in Switzerland this week. It's the venue where he became world champion in 2023. And it's the hosts of the European Championships this coming weekend as well. It's doubling up with another World Cup Series. So good luck to him and all the sliders this weekend, including, are we allowed to say this, our very own Adele Nicoll, who is, of course, doing an exclusive audio diary for Anything But Footy.
As you can imagine, Olympic year, everything's quite high stress, high emotion, high pressure, etc. All the highs. We are carrying some good momentum from the last 2 races. Obviously, we had the double 13th in the monobob and the 2 women from Lillehammer. And then we managed to pick up a season's best 11th in Sigolda in the 2 women. And then had the Christmas break, and the first races were in Winterberg, and I managed to get season's best in the monobob of 12th, and my second run was actually 4th fastest and only 600ths off the very fastest run. So that was really good. That was really positive. I was really looking forward to the 2 women, and then we just had a really silly mistake that cost us so much velocity at the start. So my body was feeling really good, and sometimes that's danger zone because you can overcook it on the start, and that's what I did. I just ran a little bit too far, and then that means that I haven't got time to get in and get down on the D-rings, and then that means that this sled is driving itself because we're out the grooves at that point. And we took a little tap on the, well, it wasn't little, it was quite significant, tap on the right hand wall and then on the left hand wall, and it actually meant that we had worst velocity out of every sled, and we somehow still managed to make it into the top 20. I think there was 27 sleds in that field. Thankfully I had really good runs which kept us in the top 20, and then on our second run we made a correction so we didn't make that same mistake again. We actually carried really good velocity from the second run down and managed to climb a couple of places. So it wasn't an ideal 2-woman race, but I'm proud of how we responded to the mistake made in the first run. And now we're in St. Moritz. So beautiful here. It's the location of the only natural track in the world, so it changes a little bit every year when we're learning the corners. And I'll be in the monobob on the Saturday and 2 women on the Sunday, really looking to try and carry the momentum that we've had towards the later part of the season, and hopefully push for more season's best and just some results that will gain us good points for the rankings for qualification. And then I will update you post Moritz.
That's Adele Nicoll, who's in St. Moritz and recorded that especially for us here at Anything But Footy. Wish her luck this weekend and look forward to hearing her thoughts afterwards.
Michael Weddock's Winter Wonders.
Let's bring in the latest GB snow sport updates now. Kirsty Muir leads the way after qualifying for the free ski slopestyle at the World Cup event in Aspen in the States. Not such good news for Dave Riding. He admits it was tough going on his return to action this year in Italy, but says he will be better on Sunday. And you can hear from them both in recent episodes of the podcast that we've done together with GB Snowsport. And record breaking taking place at the US Figure Skating Championships with Amber Glenn scoring 83.05. That's the highest ever score in the women's short program at that event. I'm adding her to my global names to watch in Milano Cortina.
I think that might be a good idea. Absolutely incredible. It's well worth going back and watching on various social medias.
I've got to say, we are super excited. We are less than 1 month to go. And in this episode of the podcast, we've had another edition of our exclusive audio diary and another Team GB athlete named as well. So do stick with us. Everything you need to know. All the big names, all the big games as we head towards the Olympic Winter Games in Milano Cortina. Check out our socials as well. We keep you in touch there. Anything But Footy. You can find us on Instagram, on Threads as well. You can check out our fixture list for 2026. Mark your diary, like I've been doing over the past couple of weeks. We've got the curling, the triathlon, the swimming, the hockey, the gymnastics, the athletics, the rowing, the canoe slalom, some tennis, basketball, table tennis, golf, much more as well. It's all on the website right now. Plus the big dates this year, the Commonwealth Games, the European Athletics Championships in Birmingham this year. First time the UK's ever hosted that event. The Paralympics and, of course, the Olympics as well. You can check out the Spotify Olympics music playlist. You can find that on Spotify. And you should stay with us. We are moving on to Milan and looking ahead to LA.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.